Okay. Yeah. First of all, we started with the monolith approach, waterfall approach. Later on, microservice architecture on those days still is very popular, but still we can, we are decoupling everything. We are. That's why on those days we are using serverless architecture, because it gives us, more smaller chunk based control of the for the application. In general, function based, we are able to control everything on a monolith architecture. The big bucket that we are deploying, and this bucket consuming all of the resources. After that, microservice, it is more decoupled, and we are using more efficient of the resources under the microservice architecture, but still it is complex. But under the serverless or function as a server, function as a service approach, giving us function-based control on the everything, function-based resource management, function-based, deployment, function-based everything. To be honest, that's why it is really popular on those days. As you see in here, I put some explanation, abstraction of backend infrastructure completely. Also, with the serverless architecture, what we are doing, what we need, what the application or what the function need, we are putting in that chunk, in that folder. For example, if this method requires some database, we are putting database, we are putting database creation script in this folder regarding the serverless definition. If we need any API gateway, we are putting in it. If this function requires some, message broker, we can put easily the infrastructure script of the SNS or SQS or another things as well. With itself, with the application contains infrastructure code as well, but they are the cloud agnostic. What does it mean? We can run those infrastructure and program on AWS or on Google Cloud or Azure or on our on-premise system as well. That's why it is making our application so well. That's why you don't need so much cloud architect or DevOps guys, because once at a time they are coming, they are creating your cloud ecosystem, and DevOps guy, they can create your CI/CD pipeline. Later on, you can use same things, for every function or for every application. That's why serverless architecture is very popular for the startups, because they don't have a big budget and they have to use everything in an efficient way, and they should take an action. They should be agile as well. And also, even for the microservice, you have to deploy your container or you have to deploy your application. But for the serverless, it is giving you function-based control And if you want, you can deploy only one function to production, which is really impressive things. So, as you see in here, execution environment for single proposed functions hosted in public cloud or on-premise. Serverless function have a runtime in a stateless container. Yeah, you know, you can run Node.js, JavaScript, Go, Python, and Java. And more. Event-driven startup triggers, instant scale out or scaling, micro billing instead of per or monthly billing. Yeah, in general, yeah, of course, today we will run our servers on AWS. Yeah, most of the, as you know, that kind of Lambda, for example, AWS Lambda or other functions, they are charging, you know, how much CPU or memory you consumed, they are charging just for that, not per hour or monthly. That's why, you know, Lambda, that's why it is really cost effective. So let's have a look. Yeah, function as a service. You know, in general, behind of the scene, there is a function as a service approach. Serverless architecture, you know, in general, using this approach. Of course, you know, some of the companies, they are creating only one method, but behind of the method, they are creating really big application like a microservice or monolith application. Better to go simple way. Yeah. Yeah, in the market, there are lots of function as a service software. Yeah, we are using serverless as a library, but on the market you can see those things as well. Yeah, event-driven architecture. Yeah, another you know, concept of the serverless. In general, we are using for the event-driven architecture. What does it mean? If something happened, trigger this one. Okay, in general, we are using for that kind of requirement. For example, you know, we created one bucket on a S3 bucket, and we created one event. If NIF files come, trigger this send notification system. Or if NIF files come, trigger image optimization process. Or if NIF data comes to DynamoDB table, trigger this, you know, messaging queue. You know, we can easily trigger any kind of things on event-driven architecture. That's why it is very cool things. Also, you can trigger anything regarding to your CloudWatch as well, CloudWatch alerts. Regarding to bill, for example, if something too expensive, more than $100, stop this service, for example. Okay. In a simple way, you know, in general, how is the architecture? You know, event sources. You know, as you see, event sources in general. Yeah, for the AWS S3 bucket, Kinesis. For the Google Cloud Storage database changes, API calls. Today we will trigger you know, API calls with our serverless. But in general, you can attach your trigger to any kind of AWS service in general. And also, you know, you can attach to Kafka or any other things. By the way, Lambda functions, they are stateless. That's why every request is a brand new request. Okay. And also, what can you do? In general, you can trigger, so many things, most of the cloud resources, because all of them in general are created regarding to event-driven architecture. Yeah, AWS doing same thing, Google and Azure and Alibaba Cloud, all of them doing same things. In general, the architecture like that, simply. Yeah, as I said, when new photo comes to the bucket, we can trigger one Lambda function, and this Lambda function can resize the image and put the thumbnails to another S3 bucket. It is, this example is very common usage for the Lambda functions. And also, backend as a service approach, also we can use time to time. Yeah, in general, serverless is 100% perfect, or do we have some issues about it? Yeah, as any other technologies, yeah, of course, we have pros and cons. Yeah, for example, the system is asynchronous and concurrent by default, infrequent or has a Socratic demand. Oops, sorry guys. Stateless and high dynamic in terms of changing business requirement. Yeah, as I said, if you need to update anything in any method, you can only deploy a single method to production. You no need to deploy a whole bunch of chunk, okay? And yeah, serverless benefit, to be honest, at the beginning, yeah, we thought to go, via ECS way, container way, but later on, we did some benchmarks and we did some POCs. Serverless architecture was making our life so easy and simple, really. Because, as I said, you don't need DevOps. You don't need cloud architect, maybe one day you can hire one cloud architect to create your ecosystem over the through the, for example, through the Terraform, they can give you your all of the ecosystem requirements: VPC, EC2, load balancers, API gateway, IAM. Such a classical and must things they can give you as an infrastructure code, and you can run one time for one environment. Later on, serverless, with the serverless, you can handle all kinds of things. For example, for the S3 bucket creation, you can easily put your S3 bucket creation things in a serverless container, serverless YAML file. And by the way, when you deploy your code over the serverless YAML, it is creating at the beginning one CloudFormation script, CloudFormation stack. And regarding to these stacks, it creates all of the required services or tools on AWS, which is really cool. Yeah, benefits, reduced cost. As I said, it charges only how much you use the resources. It is charging like that. As you know, some of the resources, for example, database or not gateway, for example, AWS charges per per hour. It doesn't matter you use or not. They are charging. Yeah, but this one is not like that. If you don't have any request on any method, they don't charge. Yeah, those are the use cases: multimedia processing, database changes, IoT sensors, stream processing at a scale, chatbot, batch job. HTTP REST APIs and web apps. Yeah, we are using mobile backend business logic continuous integration pipeline. As you see, lots of usage area. The problem is, in general, cold start problems. Yeah, as you see in here, applications that haven't been used recently take longer to start up and to handle the first request. It's a warm-up issue, but we can easily solve those issues. As you see in here, run a function either in a dedicated container or VM. Not serverless, Also, yeah, you can schedule one task to warm up your function, especially critical function that you need always high performance. You can warm up easily. You can call time to time scheduled with the scheduled task. And security risk, by, of course, default risk, yeah, I will show you how we are using, to be honest. Yeah, function event data injection, broken authentication, insecure serverless deployment configuration, overprivileged function permission and roles. Those are really serious issues. Sometimes, yeah, in general, developers, what they want, I want to make it run. They don't care sometimes, That's why just to make the program run, they are giving sometimes too much privileges, access, right? Which is really bad. As a best practice, what you need, you should only assign that thing. That's why most of the security issues comes from those things. Yeah, insecure third-party dependencies. Yeah, actually, this is always the issue. Even for monolith or microservice, you have to take care of your package always. Denial of service and financial resource exhaustion. I don't know what's the meaning. Serverless business logic manipulation, improper exception handling, and verbose error message, legacy unused function, cloud resources, cross-execution, data persistency. Yeah, in general, those issues may happen on every approach. To be honest, we have to take care of those things, but they can be easily fixed. As I said, yeah, if you are startup at the beginning of your project, you can hire one cloud architect or DevOps and also security guys. You can get the prerequisites from those guys, and regarding to their documentation, you can follow best practice, and time to time, you can apply pen test and any other security test to your project. We have some statistics. Yeah, those are the statistics we can see on the internet, but on those days it is very popular, to be honest. Yeah, yeah, we are using those things, to be honest. We are using on AWS Lambda, and also time to time for the we are attaching CloudWatch. We are attaching triggers to CloudWatch as well. But the statistics on the market, something like that, Yeah, in general, why in which scenarios the companies they are using Lambda? Yeah, REST APIs and web application, batch job, scheduled task, business logic, continuous integration, stream processing, database changes, mobile backend, chatbot. It is really a good statistic, to be honest. we are using in general for the HTTP REST API, also, for the scheduled task, also it is really cool, and also for the messaging queues as well. That's right. Okay, some other statistics that I put, and let's jump to demo. Yeah, this is I created one demo application. What is the okay? This is my. Let me clear my screen. Okay. Now, first of all, what for the serverless architecture, what we need in the first place? We need in this serverless package, I implement Node.js application. That's why I initialized one Node.js project with the npm init. Yeah, in general, the dependency is like that. I put serverless plugin to here. Also, serverless having its own CLI, which is really cool things as well. I installed globally to my local machine, and I am using its CLI. Also, as you see in here, you can install it as a dev dependencies. You don't need to install globally, and over this serverless package, you can run everything. Bless you. And in general, for the Node.js project, I use TypeScript. That's why I installed the TypeScript dependencies as well, as you see in here. Also, for the testing purpose, I'm using Jest as well. And for the AWS, normally, we don't need this one because AWS Lambda environment is having already AWS SDK. That's why we don't need this one. With those are you can think as a default dependencies. More or less every Node.js project having similar dependencies as a package. But as you see, most of them under the dev dependencies, not on the production, because Lambda having some size limit. Yeah, for example, zip file shouldn't be bigger than 50 megabyte. And I think, if I remember right, shouldn't be more than 250 megabyte when you extract it. That's why we have such a limit. Also, another limit is execution time. By default, I think 6 seconds should be a timeout, but you can increase it up to 30 seconds. Yeah, timeout also sometimes if getting nightmare for the Lambda, because some of the batch process taking too much time. You need to handle in a different way. So after the package.json, actually package.json is a dependency of any Node.js JavaScript-based project. Okay, it is not part of the serverless. If you use Java, you will use Maven or Gradle dependencies. If you use .NET Core, I don't know what they are using, but every programming language having different package management system. Node.js managing with the package.json. Later on, the important file is serverless.yml. Yeah, we are creating it manually. Also on the serverless website, I think I put the serverless website as a link in here. Yeah, under this website, serverless.com documentation is really cool. You can find default templates for your project, as a serverless.yml, and easily you can configure your cloud infrastructure. If you use Azure, download the Azure template as a draft and change regarding to your Azure's ecosystem. If you use Google or AWS, this is the AWS template. In general, all of them looks like to each other. Yeah, we are giving a name. In general, it become cloud formation stack. And this is the template of AWS and something like that. In general, what we are doing in here, it is, as you see, we are able to define variables in here, regarding to environment, use this variable or get the data from there. We can put such a rules in a serverless.yml. Okay. So in general, as you see in here, I am defining the runtime, which programming language will run, and then Lambda version, and also this part is important. By default, it is using the default VPC, but we don't prefer to use default VPC because when you use the default VPC, something I feel is not under your control. Yeah, that's why I want to run in my own VPC, and if some of the configuration is missing, I want to know. I want to set one by one what I need, and also I want to document everything. Okay, that's why VPC definition, security group, subnet. In general, in here, we use private subnet, better to use. Of course, if you said public, it doesn't, complain, to be honest. You can continue, but it is not a good practice. And also function, this part is important. Let me talk later about it. Plugins, also serverless library supports, you can enrich your serverless library with the plugin. You can enrich, there are lots of plugins. Yeah, as you see in here, I am using some plugin, for example, serverless offline. As you know, most of the cloud service, it's not possible to use efficiently in your local machine. You have to mock them, right? Yeah, that's why serverless by default, mocking API gateway, simply, you can test all of your REST APIs in your local machine. And also Lambda, by default, Lambda creates a new version for your every deployment, but it has also limits. I think the maximum limit is 100 or something. That's after that it says you have out of storage or something. It is throwing such an error. That's why if you use this one, you can keep last 10 version or last 3 version over this plugin, which is really cool, and you can configure its parameter under the custom. In general, how we are using custom site, by the way, all of those definition, they are serverless library standards. Okay, functions, plugins, customs, providers. Okay, all of them predefined keywords. Under the custom, you can define all of your, custom variables. Yeah, for example, staging, what does it mean? Profiles, you can define for the local, zero-to-hero dev, for the dev, zero-to-hero development, for example, or staging. And you can put all of the Webpack configuration to here. As you see, I can put some exclusion to here as well. And, regarding to plugins, in general, you are doing the plugin configuration under the custom. They depend some definition under the custom side. Okay, as you see, Webpack in here, but plugin in here. Okay, what you need, we are defining in here as well. So, function side. As I said, this is important. What is the function name? Hello world. You need two things for the function as a service approach. One side is external leg, one side is internal. It means from the outside world, I will come to this function from this URL or from this endpoint or from this database or something, and then this serverless will forward me to this method. Okay, handlers shows our internal method name. Okay, if you have a look, you see, we have one method. And, it is doing only, getting the events and forwarding to handler. Okay, this is the, as you see in here, we are, as I said, we will use as a demo, we will do a REST API demo. That's why I defined one simple get method, but in here it supports all of the HTTP methods: get, put, post, delete. You can use all of them, okay? And the path, also you can define the path variable and also query strings. Also, if your endpoint requires API key, it is you can set as well. Yeah, we are using, we are managing our API keys over the serverless, to be honest, which makes our life so easy. I am saying, use API key. All of the endpoints automatically, protected by the API key. Also, for the custom authorization, for example, you are using, for example, Firebase as a, authentication and authorization, or Cognito or Auth0, you can easily inject your custom authorization code in here as well. You can say this method uses custom authorization, and it is automatically configuring on the API gateway. As I said, it makes our life so easy as well. As I said, in general, by the way, what does it mean, those things? Those things means, you can, manually set those things, something like that. Okay, security group IDs you can give like that, or, what I did in here, I will use AWS parameter store, and on there, pick up the security group IDs from this path. As you know, AWS parameter stores, you can define path-based variables. For example, for the subnets, it is also same. It means SSM means go to AWS secrets and find this path get the value from there. For example, also we are using, database. Yeah, we keep our database connection on AWS secret as well. Serverless architecture automatically resolving the, encrypted fields as well, which makes our life so easy. Okay, on the request type. So let's have a look quickly what we have as a method. Yeah, as I said in here, let's find a function. This path will use this program. Let me go there. I want to go up here. Yes, the request comes to here. Okay, you can print everything. You can print all of the event. You will see all of the variable definition under this event parameter. In here, I am not doing so many things, but rest of them, classical programming skills. And then there is one business layer, which is Hello World service. Go there, and then we are returning simply Hello World. Okay. And then as you see, response, and it is logging. And then just one another different things is we are converting our response to API gateway standards. Okay, build response, something like that. Status code, body, header, something that we are converting like that because of the API gateway dependency. So in general, it's like that. Rest of them, it is very common things. Let me delete these things. VS Code, Node.js modules. Okay, handler, with handler. Ignore just, yeah. So, for this Hello World project, as you see, we are installing, this is the Node.js project, steps. We are installing all of the dependent package to our project because, the important, just keep in your mind, serverless, creating one package from your, from all of the local files. That's why serverless with the Node.js modules, it is creating one zip file and pushing to AWS Lambda and then extracting in there. Okay, that's why, if you don't need any package, delete from the node modules, delete also from the package.json. Otherwise, it will increase your package size. And to test locally, let's have a look. Is it working? You see, it is very simple, regarding to Java. I work on Java more than 10 years. Such a complicated things, right? It says you can reach locally to this service from this URL. Let's see what will happen. Let me open my Postman. Okay. Today I haven't tested. Hopefully it works. Yeah, it is working. Yeah, as you see. Yeah. Let's have a look at the log. Also, you can debug easily, locally. Let's have a look. As I said before, in the first place, I print all of the event content, as you see, event, something like that. You see, it is, I think you should be familiar this event content from the any REST API, because all of them, in general, same. As you see, all of them, header, methods, if you need some multi-header, all of the details in here. On behalf of us serverless, populating those things on behalf of us. And then, yeah, as you see, I tested. It is working fine. And also, if I want npm run test, I don't remember, did I implement unit tests? Yeah, as you see, unit tests are also working, which is cool. Yeah, as I said, I can create like that, 100 methods, and all of them you can manage all of them, one by one. You don't need to deploy in a one shot all of them. You can deploy only one method as well. So to create another REST API in here, what I am doing in general, I am doing something like that. Hello world 2, for example. It can use same resource, but it can be, if something comes like that, use this method, and it should be post for example. Like that, you can create 100, 200, how much do you want? You can create functions as a service, and automatically all of the API gateway endpoints will be created. Later on, I will show you from the API gateway, you can download also Swagger documentation or OpenAPI documentation. Of course, if you want better Swagger documentation, you need to add some documentation in here as well. It has also, there was another plugin for the proper Swagger documentation. Regarding to that plugin, you are defining your request and response object with the default or example variables, and then it is creating really nice Swagger documentation as well. So let's create our resources on AWS. First of all, let's have a look on our API gateway. This is the Ireland environment. As you see, yeah, I have one private and one public API gateway. And then as a Lambda, I have, such as things in here. There is no hello world, okay. And also I want to open the cloud formation stack as well. Lambda API gateway, okay. And then let's see what will happen. Okay, everything looks fine. So in here, to deploy, yeah, I created, environment-based configuration on my serverless YAML. If I run this one, it will deploy everything. In theory, like that. Yeah, by the way, later on, if I want to remove all of the resources that the serverless created on behalf of me, it is also able to delete all of the created resources via serverless YAML file as well, which is really important. Sometimes we are creating some resources on AWS, but later on it's not possible to remove something. Yeah, some of the resources having some dependencies, you have to follow. You have to be really careful about deleting of resources. you know, some sequence that you should follow. But with the serverless architecture, it makes also our life easy. What it creates, it is able to remove all of them. So let's deploy it. First of all, to run these commands, first of all, you need to configure your AWS. Configure AWS configure, something like that. Okay, and environment Ireland, which is cool, and this is okay. So if your AWS is configured well, you can deploy. Let's see what will happen. As you see, in the first place, it is creating CloudFormation stack. Let's have a look at the AWS. Is it really creating a stack? You see, you know, regarding, you know, from this serverless YAML file, you know, if you know how the CloudFormation scripts works, CloudFormation scripts, they are really, you know, nightmare. It is not easy to create any resources, you know, over the CloudFormation scripts. That's why we prefer to use Terraform, to be honest. But serverless also makes our life so easy, right? You know, everything is, as you see, very clean and understandable. VPC security group, environment, something like that. In here, like that, you can add some EM roles, you can add SQS, SNS definition, you can create your S3 buckets, even you can create your, you know, root 53 definition, and also you can make all of your hosting definition as well. Yeah, that's why it's a really cool things. Yeah, as you see in here, locally I am able to deploy everything. Also, yeah, what I did, for example, for our project, I am using GitHub Actions. You know, GitHub on this GitHub Actions, I am running same command. On the GitHub Action, I say run this SLS deploy stage dev. It is, you know, and also I defined my access key, secret key, AWS required keys in there. It is automatically, you know, pushing everything to AWS, to Lambda from the GitHub. You don't need, you know, Jenkins, which is so complex and horrible sometimes, or you don't need any paid version of Circle CI or any other things. As you see, it says we created something, and from this endpoint, you can reach to your REST API. As you see, it is really amazing thing. It created my endpoint. Let me open my Postman again. You see, it was working. Let me run another one. Whoa, you see, I haven't touched to anywhere. You know, the maintenance of the API gateway was done by the serverless YAML. That's why it is really cool. Let's have a look at the resources on AWS. You see, if you can have a look at the stack details up from here, what kind of resources, as you see, all of the API gateway object were created by the serverless via CloudFormation script. Yeah, if you have any issue, you can you can follow from the logs in here. Also, you can go to, you know, stack details, and you can see, you know, what was the issue, and also what kind of resources were created. You can see from here as well. And let's go to API gateway. What happened in here? You see, it created brand new API gateway for my project, which is really cool thing. Sometimes, you know, all of us not, you know, cloud architect or any other guys, you know, developer, yeah, not you know, DevOps. All of them need some, you know, experience to create manually. Of course, manually creation is really a disaster. But serverless is creating for us. As you see, this is REST API definition in a cool way. You know, you can test it from here as well. You see, if you, yeah, if you define your REST endpoint on serverless YAML properly, here will be, you know, created perfect. Let's test it. As you see, serverless hello world, and as you see, all of the you know, logs in here. Let's have a look what happened on the Lambda side. Yeah, of course, in here we can talk until morning. You know, as you see, you know, it mapped our REST endpoint to our Lambda function. You have to do it manually in general, but it is doing, as you see in here. Normally, through the over the serverless YAML file, I am able to manage all of those parameters also, rest of them as well. And in here, as you see, it is automatically doing. Also from here, if I want, I can go to Lambda in Ireland region. You see in here, application and function URL as well. Also on the yeah, Lambda, you can make lots of configuration as well. Yeah, as you see in here as a graphic, it is using its API gateway is attached to here. So yeah, hello world. Yeah, if something, as you see, it is the optimized JavaScript. Yeah, of course, it is not the feature of the serverless. It is the feature of the TypeScript and Webpack. But yeah, you can test in here as well. Yeah, if you need. But what I want to see the logs. Yeah, also you can see all of the configuration configurations were done by the serverless YAML in here. It says, you know, for the cloud log things. And let's have a look. Yeah, we logged in CloudWatch. Let's have a look what kind of CloudWatch logs it is creating. Yeah, it is creating databases by default. You can have a look. You know, you remember I was I was logging the event object. It is similar as a structure. It is same on the local. There's something like that, guys. Yeah, as you see, it is simple. I showed, you know, with the simple hello world example, but you know, you can do everything with serverless YAML. Let me remove all of the resources that Lambda created. Okay. Oop. If I run this one, let's have a look what's happening now. Because sometimes I like to watch what's happening here. You see, delayed in progress. You know, also, yeah, if you are not able to run serverless, you can come to the CloudFormation script and you can select your stack and you can delete from here, okay? It is doing same thing. And it should delete also hello world service, something. Already deleted. It should delete also API gateway. You see it deleted. Okay, cool, so fast. You see, it is really clean job. I created lots of resources on AWS and I deleted. And, you know, I won't pay for the forgotten things on AWS. Yeah, that's all, guys. Yeah, I think we can, yeah, we can wrap up for the serverless event. Maybe, yeah, we can do one question and answers session for 10 minutes. Yeah, if I am able to answer, I will happily try to do it. If you have any question, yeah, it is your turn, guys. Anyone having any questions? How did you find it difficult or simple? What do you think? Especially our co-host. Yeah, what was the name?
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it was a bit too introductive, but I was more curious about the Node.js in general because I want to get into Node.js next. Yeah, and for me, the workshop itself and the presentation was a bit dry, and also too much text and too little. Like too much text on the slides instead of more like talking from your perspective and like with example, because it's easy to read all this stuff, but it's harder to understand from real example what that means. Like that was some found exhaustions, that stuff, and another that were presented. Yeah, this is all for me.
Cool, thank you, bro. And any other question, guys?
Thank you, Rasim. Thank you very much for your training. Actually, it is very helpful for me because our current project is about serverless, and we are developing serverless, but I am not good at as you. My question is that deleting all CloudFormation. That means we don't need to create any other serverless YAML file. When we delete, it is re-engineering and redeleting what we create in a YAML file, or what is the structure behind that?
Yeah, first of all, you know, serverless taking care of what it creates. You know, it doesn't. It don't, you know, it doesn't touch any other resources that is created by the, you know, manually or by other programs. That's why, you know, it is, you know, in general, when we, yeah, if you know a little bit Terraform, you know, in the first place, it is creating, you know, one snapshot. Yeah, I will create this and this and this resources. Okay. And then, you know, it is creating one CloudFormation scripts about all those services. And later on, you know, it is just triggering the CloudFormation stack delete option, because it is doing everything through the CloudFormation script, which is you know, healthy one, to be honest, because it is using the cloud providers standards to create a resource or delete a resource, as I say. But you know, my suggestion is to you, you know, when you create something with the serverless, don't delete manually. If you delete one of them, you know, most probably, you know, this deletion process won't work properly.
Okay, thank you, Rasim.
Thank you as well. Any question, guys?
I have a question. So does every request trigger the Lambda to start up, or is there a sort of a timeout before it shuts down again?
Can you say again?
Okay, so if the Lambda is it's a sorry, if you have a REST endpoint and something request to it, does every request cause it to start up?
Yeah, first of all, in here, as you see, every request, attached to separate Lambda function. That's why, for example, hello to, for example, this one, this will be completely brand new, Lambda function. It will create two different methods. Regarding to two methods, it will create two endpoints. That's why none of the function, depends to each other. All of them works independently. It's not like, in a container, all of the REST endpoints works or not works, right? But in here, it's not like that. Function based, everything is independent. Did I answer or did I understand correctly? I don't know what.
Okay, so if just give an example, I think would be helpful. So if I send a GET request to that particular endpoint, what code ends up running? I mean, you have a whole application, so what within that would run then?
Yeah, I got your point. Yeah. For this method execution, yeah, let's say this is not hello world. This is.
We cannot see your screen, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God! I was.
I can see it.
I can see it.
I cannot see. Okay, no worries, Dan.
Okay, now you can see, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. For example, good morning service and hello world. Lambda service, Lambda, creating one container. Let's say as a container. It is putting this this endpoint in a container. And also it is putting this endpoint in a different container. That's why, if you want to communicate between two REST endpoint, you are doing, like a, third-party call, because they don't know each other. And also they are stateless. Okay. Maybe you can explain more.
One more question from me, if
it
is fine. Actually, we are talking about Terraform, CloudFormation, or any other setting up. In when we look serverless framework, it will work in AWS, it will work in Azure, it will work in Google Cloud. So that means if we can do anything over serverless YAML files, do we need to learn CloudFormation or any Terraform applications?
Actually, before your question, yeah, Henry, he text on the chat. I understood you. Of course, by default, every method have timeout. As I said, default is, I think it should be 6 seconds. You can go up to 30 seconds. Yeah, that's why every Lambda have maximum execution time. After that, it is getting down. In that time, if the execution is not able to complete, it is killing the process. Just keep in your mind. Yeah, for you to run. Yeah, first of all, in an ideal world is different than the something in theory. It says, yeah, in theory it supports. It is cloud agnostic. Yeah, as you see, regarding to serverless YAML, instead of AWS, if you put here Azure, yeah, you know, it should adapt to Azure ecosystem. But, you know, as a practice, as a best practice, because, you know, we are doing in general serious things on cloud. That's why better to customize according to target cloud. Because you will see on the serverless website, cloud-based templates, better to use those templates if you go, you know, IBM Cloud, for example, better to configure serverless YAML regarding to IBM Cloud. But the good thing is, yeah, bless you, the good side of the serverless, yeah, at the end, you are working, yeah, you need to configure only one YAML file. Okay. And in general, REST API definition, this part will be same. And most of the time, custom sites will be same. Just in my idea, you know, VPC definition may be different, security group subnet definition, or yeah, for example, load balancer configuration or API gateway definition maybe needs additional parameters, for example. Yeah, but yeah, it will be simple and will be managed from one single YAML file.
Thank you very much.
Thank you as well.
Do you have plan to make another session for creating Docker file in with serverless or something like that?
Yeah, for the every month, we are running a serverless event for the beginners. To be honest, for the advanced level, you know, yeah, for the companies we have paid session. To be honest.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Turan. Yeah, any other question, guys? I hope you enjoyed, and you know, I will send our YouTube channel. Yeah, we have less than 100 followers. That's why YouTube is not giving us one unique channel name, username. That's why, if you don't mind, follow me on the YouTube. Okay, I will send you my link. Thank you, guys. I think, yeah, we can wrap up for today. I enjoyed a lot. I hope you enjoyed too. That's all for today. See you in our next event. Okay, take care. Bye.
Thank you, Rasim.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Presentation.
Good evening.